TCM podcast, all about Chinese medicine. Welcome to a new episode at Traditional Chinese Medicine, TCM podcast. Today I chose a kind of interesting topic. It is about light. As a matter of fact, healing the light, and in particular, healing properties of colors. So, in the end of this conversation, I will mention a bit about color psychology, the influence of colors, of course. But let's start first with the light itself. And we know all about solar spectrum, but before we learned about solar spectrum, everyone talks about religions. And religions in general teach us that light was God's first creation, at least about monotheistic religions. Well, even if you don't believe it, we all learn that light stimulates life. And to have life on the earth, it is necessary to be exposed continuously to the life-giving rays of the sun. If we aren't exposed to the sun, soon the earth would be transformed into a solid block of ice, where life will cease to exist, basically. It is the sun, or better to say the solar energy, which enables life to exist, grass to grow, stimulates herbs and vegetables to flourish, the fruits to ripe, so that man as well as animals may have food to live on. Everyone talks about the colors therapy, or better to say the chromotherapy. Well, that very therapy would say that is a method or a treatment that uses the visible spectrum of electromagnetic radiations to cure diseases. Those visible spectrum basically represent colors, and it is very old, at least centuries old concept, used successfully over the years to cure various diseases. And solar rays spectrum consists at one end of deep infrared radiations and on the other ends of deep ultraviolet radiation. Rainbow is a great example of solar spectrum because it is caused by the passing of white sunlight through mist or raindrops and broken up into 7 visible colors of the solar spectrum. As you know, they are red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, and indigo. The same solar spectrum can be obtained by passing a ray of white sunlight through the refracting surface of a glass prism, where it is split up into the components and can be seen as a beautiful band of 7 colors if allowed to fall upon a white screen. White sunlight is a combination of 7 visible colors as well as other kind of rays which are invisible to the human eye. Each color of the spectrum has a wavelength of it, and it is the unit which is called angstrom unit. So what is sunlight? Well, sunlight is considered to be the total sum of the visible spectrum, and every color vibration is only a part of solar energy. Let us look around and we will find different colored fruits, vegetables, and herbs. The solar spectrum influences all living beings and foods and receives certain solar rays, spectrum, and influence, which in turn will have a similar effect or influence upon the human system if absorbed as food. Certain fruits, vegetables, and herbs are charged with a ray which they are most capable of absorbing, as it is the nature of grass to absorb only the yellow and green rays. It not only is green to look at, but it also transmits the qualities of the respective rays to the animal which uses grass as its food. Therefore, we'll find that every food that we eat represents an original color which has been absorbed from the sun, of which it is a part. To exist, we must breathe, eat, and drink, so that our body can transform the various color rays of the sun into blood, and is again transformed into other vibratory forces which build bone, flesh, tissue, hair, etc., as well as into a series of electrical vibratory forces which enable us to see, hear, smell, of course, taste, and touch. The vibratory rate of a substance determines its density or its form as matter. A slowly vibrating substance is referred to as physical matter, whereas the subatomic matter vibrates at or above the speed of light, actually is pure light energy. So light is electromagnetic radiation, which is the fluctuation of electric and magnetic fields in nature. Light is energy, and the phenomenon of color is a product of the interaction of energy and matter. The wavelength, frequency, and quantity of energy of every colorful ray are fixed for each color. That is, a specific wavelength, a certain frequency, and a particular amount of energy in that wave have been denominated as distinct color. The human eye is sensitive to electromagnetic radiation only at wavelengths roughly between 380 and about 780 nanometers. This small segment is called the visible spectrum or visible light. Visible light can be broken down into numerous electromagnetic frequencies, and frequency relates to the color of the rainbow, as I mentioned previously, or better to say, all the vibrations thereof. According to the Eastern teaching, basically about Southeast Asians teaching, better to say, man is composed of 7 different series of vibrations, which is in close relation to so-called chakras, which is basically the very much Indian concept, and the 3 main forces of body, mind, and spirit. Firstly, the body directly or indirectly absorbs the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the food we eat. The energy thus absorbed from the air and sunlight is direct, but from the food and water it is indirect. The second is the mind. If its vibrations are out of tune and are discordant, as is the case in a weak or diseased body, then the mind does not feel at home or at rest, and worry, fear, and constant anxiety are the result. Nervous system simply could not stand it very long without being shattered, and likewise the dynamic forces of the mind can only operate peacefully in a body whose vibrations are harmonious and whirring smoothly. Only then can the mind take charge of the body and assist and guide it safely and peacefully through life. The third series of vibration is obtained if mind and body work in perfect harmonious cooperation, and then we will be given the full conscious awareness of the spiritual forces within him, and through it gain wisdom and understanding. To keep the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual forces with us properly balanced, we should endeavor to follow our natural instincts by surrounding ourselves, as well as clothing ourselves with the colors which appeal to us most. There are some basic chromotherapy, I would say basic principles, which would be basically that chromotherapy provides colors to the electromagnetic body or the aura, or we can say aura, which means energy field around the body, which in turn transfers energy to the physical body. When we speak of color, we mean basically energy waves. Every color, each with its own frequency, is a form of energy. Colors onto the skin acts as a form of feeding color to the body. Light is the closest thing to pure energy that we can identify. Color as pure vibrational energy is the rational therapy for maintaining health and overcoming disease. When applied to the human body, light will provide all deficient energies since every color is associated with a quantity of energy. Colors have a profound effect on us at all levels: physical, mental, and emotional. These interrelating systems of subtle forces recharge or rechannel energy into diseases, or better say diseased areas, where it is blocked or it is deficient, for disease is nothing more than a restriction of energy flow. As we know, energy or vibrational flow along the path or least resistance, and through the extra energy associated with the use of vibrational healing, the appropriate energies seek out the needed areas, freeing blocked energy where it is most required. The interaction between the dense physical energy of the body and the subtle energy which controls many of the body functions or activities is the key to understanding the relationship between energy and matter. This energy body can also be proved through photography, as described by Perry in scientific documentation of chromotherapy back in 1939. Kirlian, famous Kirlian's photography, if you're acquainted to. So the Kirlian discovered that if an object on a photographic plate is subjected to a high voltage electric field, an image is created on the plate. The image looks like a colored halo or a coronal discharge. This image is said to be the physical manifestation of the electromagnetic radiation around the body, which we call aura, which allegedly surrounds every living thing. Well, when we talk about light therapy, I would like to mention at least the history, at least how actually were, or better say, developed since the old times. And many ancient civilizations of the past had a thorough understanding of the healing powers of sunlight and color, and established special places where the patients were exposed to the required color rays under the capable supervision. So light therapy was practiced in ancient Egypt, Greece, China, and India, you can say, in old civilizations, obviously. The Egyptians utilized sunlight as well as color for healing, and color has been investigated as medicine at least since 2000 BC, at least. In Egyptian mythology, light therapy was discovered by the god Thoth, and ancient Egyptians and Greeks used colored mineral stones, crystals, salves and dyes as remedies, and painted treatment sanctuaries in various shades of colors. In Ayurveda, Indian medicine, sunlight was recommended as treatment to a variety of diseases from at least 6th century BC. In ancient Greece were used direct exposure to sunlight and indirect healing. In the indirect method, they used such materials as stones, dyes, ointments, and plasters as the medium. In ancient China was developed 5-color healing therapy as a healing method derived from the traditional Chinese medicine. At its core, it is based on the theory of yin-yang, of course, 5 elements and 8 triagrams of Chinese medicine. And then it comes the Avicenna, which was about 980 AD. He was certain of vital importance of color in both diagnosis and treatment. So he developed a chart of diseases and syndromes with associated color, and believed that color is an observable symptom of disease. The first person which we could consider as a pioneer of modern chromotherapy was American Dr. Edwin Babbitt from the 19th century, and he basically researched the effects of the reflection, absorption, transmission, and polarization of light. He used color healing devices created by him, and about 1927, Gattielli discovered the scientific principles that explain why and how different color rays have various therapeutic effects on the body, and published very first spectra chromo encyclopedia. And I would say more recently, 1951, Japanese researcher Takata discovered that different lights affect different enzymatic reactions for healing purposes. But basically, all of this is a history. How we use chromotherapy. Again, there was debates and different usage of chromotherapy since at least 1950s. And at that time, studies suggested that neonatal jaundice, a potentially fatal condition found in about 2/3 of premature babies, could be successfully treated by exposure to sunlight. And this was confirmed in the 1960s, and white light replaced high-risk blood transfusions in the treatment of this condition. Blue light was later found to be more effective and less hazardous than full-spectrum light. Bright white full-spectrum light is also now being used in treatment of cancers, winter depression, anorexia, bulimia nervosa, insomnia, for jet lag, shift working, alcohol, and of course drug addictions, and of course to reduce overall levels of medication. For example, blue light is also used in healing injured tissue and preventing scar tissue, as well as for burns and lung conditions. In about 1990, many researchers reported the successful use of blue light in the treatment of a wide variety of psychological problems, including addictions, eating disorders, and depression. At the other end of color spectrum, which is the red light, it has been shown to be effective in the treatment of cancer and constipation, and in healing wounds. So nowadays, chromotherapy is used to improve the performance of athletes, whereas red light appears to help athletes who need short, quick bursts of energy. Blue light assists in performance requiring a steadier energy output. And how we can understand how it works, chromotherapy? Well, I would like to explain it through the hormones better. And melatonin is known to be the crucial chemical pathway by which animals respond to light and synchronize their bodily functioning with diurnal and seasonal variations. Serotonin is a very important neurotransmitter in the brain, whose action has been linked with mental disturbances such as schizophrenia and hallucinogenic states. Serotonin is a stimulant and is produced during daylight, whereas the output of melatonin, which is linked with sleep, increases when it is dark and has a generally depressive effect. This is reversed when it is light and the production of melatonin drops. Its main site of action appears to be in the hypothalamus, the part of the brain involved in mediating the effects of various hormones and in regulating emotions. However, changes in the output of melatonin in response to light influence every cell of the body, notably the reproductive processes, which are sensitive to such variations. High levels of melatonin have been found in women with ovulation problems, in men with low sperm count, and in people suffering from winter depression, which usually occurs during winter, as I mentioned. Research also confirmed that certain parts of the brain are not only light sensitive, but actually respond differently to different wavelengths. It is now believed that different wavelengths, which are actually representation of different colors of radiation, interact differently with the endocrine system to stimulate or reduce hormone production. Light is responsible for turning on the brain and the body. Light enters the body through the eyes and skin. When even a single photon of light enters the eye, it lights up the entire brain. This light triggers the hypothalamus, which regulates all life-sustaining bodily functions. the autonomic nervous system, endocrine system, and the pituitary, which is basically the body's master gland. The hypothalamus is also responsible for our body's biological clock. It also sends a message by way of light to the pineal organ, which is responsible for releasing one of our most important hormones, which is melatonin. The release of melatonin is directly related to light, darkness, colors, and the Earth's electromagnetic field. This necessary hormone affects every cell in the body. It turns on each cell's internal activities, allowing them to harmonize with each other in nature. The pineal gland is believed to be responsible for our feeling of oneness with the universe and sets the stage for the relationship between our inner being and the environment. If that relationship is harmonious, we are healthy, happy, and feel a sense of well-being. An imbalance in this relationship makes itself known in the form of disorders of disease in our physical, mental, or emotional states. The pineal is our light meter and receives information from the heavens above, you can say, to give us that sense of oneness with the universe, and from the Earth's electromagnetic field below to keep us grounded. A perfect balance is necessary to maintain our health and to keep us in harmony with the environment. So, unlike phototherapy, which is light therapy, color therapy is scientifically partially approved because of little scientific evidence, but because of great history and health usage is widely studied. Every creature is engulfed in light that affects its health conditions. All organs, cells, and atoms exist in energy as energy, and each form has its frequency or vibrational energy. When various parts of the body deviate from these expected normal vibrations, the body is not functioning properly. So, for every organ, there is we can say, energetic level at which the organ functions best. To restore the appropriate energy levels to the physical organs results in a healed body. And scientist Cloche in 20th century, he's famous for correlation colors with chakras. He mentioned that each chakra energized and sustains certain organs. The body has 7 major energy centers known as chakras, and each center is responsive to a different color. Chakra located at the sides of the major endocrine glands corresponds to states of consciousness, personality types, and endocrine secretions. So, for example, the red would be pretty much in correlation to root chakra, orange with sacral, green with the heart, blue with the throat, and indigo with the brown chakra, where will be the violet with the crown, and the white will be the perfect color blend. And each of the color within the color therapy has its own properties. Having said that, red color has a rousing and stimulating effect upon the body, especially the vital and metabolic functions. The red ray increases the temperature, quickens the actions of the heart, and speeds up the circulation, especially of the arterial blood, which is brought to the surface of the skin. Red is a most valuable color to use in all chronic conditions such as paralysis, chronic rheumatism, consumption, even up to the 3rd stage, or complete physical exhaustion, as well as anemia. Red has also been found most beneficial for the treatment of anemic people who will obtain more blood. Red is a stimulant for the male sex glands and can be used for the male stimulations. And the stimulating effect of red light is also a most valuable factor in the treatment of paralysis, cataract, and well, we should never use red alone for longer than about 10 minutes per treatment, as the use of too much red may cause an overexcited nervous system and can produce dangerous output. The next in line is the orange, and the orange ray is a nerve animating as well as warming to cold, negative and dormant conditions. It will be the proper force to use for the treatment of full paralyzed conditions. Orange is a great stimulant to the emotions, as it increases the pulse rate, strengthens the etheric body, and promotes a general sense of cheerfulness and well-being. So this color is basically not recommended to be used in nervous conditions and such as inflammations, palpitation of the heart, or even fever. Yellow has its own mystic meanings, and it is considered to be the color of wisdom and moderations, I would say. So concerning understanding the laws of life and nature, self-control, and it is considered to be the most powerful light ray of the solar spectrum. It is also a nerve stimulant, and it is very beneficial in case of melancholia, and it could be used as a treatment for all lethargic mental as well as physical conditions. So yellow is contraindicated in all nervous and exciting conditions such as insomnia, sciatica, and so on. And green. Green is the color of nature, the color of strength and progress in body and mind. Green is the color vibration which loosens and relaxes the etheric body, and it acts as a sedative and is of great value as a healing force in cases of nervous irritability, exhaustion as well, unfortunate nervous breakdowns or sleepiness. So it has a calming effect of the mind, and because as it has calming effect, it is used for inflammations, and it has the power to reduce blood pressure, decrease metabolic action. So it is used for all kinds of headaches, neuralgias, and blood pressure. We say that a day in the country is an actual tonic to our body, mind, and spirit, and because of these action upon the three constituents of the human being, the green color ray is of such vital importance to use as a medicine. The blue color of the blue ray has a wonderful power to cleanse and calm and bring peace to mind and body. The blue, indigo, and violet end of the solar spectrum is refrigerant, astringent, and very soothing to any system in which inflammation and nervous conditions predominate. And when nervous conditions prevail, blue is the most suitable color to use, as it is a nerve tonic and acts very favorably on the nervous system by calming and steadying the nerves. It's also great for hypersensitivity, tension, nervousness, and insomnia, of course. But also something important, blue, is that it has a pain relieving property, and it shouldn't be used longer than 10 to 15 minutes at a time, because it might cause tiredness or unfortunate depression to the user. Violet is mostly used for pulmonary, or I would say the problems with the lungs. It is a bit more powerful than blue to use people to sleep, but unfortunately also produces melancholia, and because of that should be applied in very small doses. So violet color is not recommended to use, as I mentioned, in all cases of melancholia, unfortunate depression, or general low vitality. So I would like to actually add not the end, but to continue, better to say, um, saying several words about color psychology, I found it very interesting because color psychology, as you know, it has research relations and different effects of colors, of course, to emotions and behavior depending on age, gender, and culture. Color psychology is widely used in marketing and branding, as medical therapy, sports, and in hospital settings. Since 1810, or better to say, since very famous Johann Wolfgang von Goethe published the theory of colors, he basically created his own color systems. This important work on the psychological nature of color linked colors with emotions, opening the door for modern color psychology. Goethe found that his ideas were best expressed within the equilateral triangle. He divided all the colors into two groups: colors that produce excitement and cheerfulness, colors that associated with weakness and unsettled feelings. So, furthermore, according to Carl Jung, or Jung, who pioneered stages of color psychology in the 20th century, colors are the mother tongue of the subconsciousness. 1916, very famous Professor Howard Camp, which basically is considered to be a British art connoisseur, advanced a color cure for shell shock. At around the same time, architect William Ludlow began to advocate pale pastel blues and greens in hospital for therapeutic purposes and advising that white is negative. And finally, during 1940s, the work of K. Goldstein and other further researchers found how color affect human psychology and actions, and were developed into the practice of art and color therapy widely used today as well. So, what are basically principles of color psychology? Very simple. Color individually or in mixture carry a specific meaning. Meaning of color is based in biologically innate or learned meaning. The person perceiving color has unique perception and automatic evaluation. The color motivated behavior is caused by different evaluation processes, and color automatically influences certain behavior, and understanding its meaning and effect changes according to context as well. For example, flushed or pale skin is the synonym for excitement or sickness. Color strongly affects people's perception of edibility and flavors of foods and drinks. For example, in food stores, bread is normally sold in packaging decorated or tinted with golden brown tones to promote the idea of home-baked and even oven freshness. Also, if a person receives a brown drink in the USA, he might have expectations for the taste of Coke, while someone from China may expect a grape flavored drink because basically, traditionally, grape flavored drink it is brown colored. There actually the most important thing is the meaning of colors. Well, we're talking about different meanings in different cultures basically, but there are some universal ones as well. So because nowadays we use color psychology in designing optimal work, schools, hospitals, and even living spaces, because color influences our emotions and behaviors. We know that color can stimulate, excite, depress, even tranquilize, or increase appetite and create a feeling of warmth or coolness. Certain physiological changes take place when people are exposed to certain colors. For example, exposure to red colors in the higher results usually in higher blood pressure, respiration, heart rate, and eye blink frequency, while blue color causes lower blood pressure. Red is often used in restaurant decorating schemes because it is an appetite stimulant. Human reactions to colors are led by a combination of biological, physiological, psychological, social, and cultural factors. For example, people will gamble more and make riskier bets when seated under a red light, for example, as opposed to a blue light. Colors often have different symbolic meanings in different cultures. For example, white is the color for weddings in Western societies, while white color is usually used for funerals in Chinese culture. Red color is by default associated with rage in the USA, but actually in Chinese culture is associated with happiness. The important part of the color therapy or the color psychology, or the psychology of colors, is the light, because the light and the color of an object can affect how one perceives its positioning. Blue light causes people to feel relaxed, which has led countries to add blue street lights in order to decrease crimes and suicide rates, like for example in Japan. Light and color also have a strong effect on perceived experience of time. For example, time seems to pass more slowly under red lights and time seems to pass quickly under blue light. So casinos take full advantage of this phenomenon by using color to get people to spend more time and hence more money in their casino. A sampling of the health characteristics claimed by color therapy are numerous, but in general, I would say that warm colors produce warm, cozy, and inviting feelings, and these colors are associated with excitements, happiness, and comfort. So, for example, yellow, orange, and red are associated with the heat of sun and fire. Cool colors are associated with emotions of different range, from calm and peace to sadness, withdrawal and repression. Blue, green, and violet colors associated with the coolness of leaves, sea, and the sky. Red color stimulates and increases appetite. It is the most emotionally intense color because it is perceived as a strong and active color which may influence both the person wearing it and others perceiving it. Of course, red color may signal health as opposed to anemic paleness, as I mentioned previously, or indicate anger due to flushing instead of paleness due to fear. Private studies have found that some species evaluate rivals and possible mates depending on red color characteristics. Facial redness is associated with testosterone levels in humans, and male skin tends to be redder than female skin. In daily lives, red cars are often targets for thieves. And decorators say that red furniture will attract attention. Well, since it is an extreme color, red clothing might not help people in negotiations or confrontations. Yellow color, actually we can say cheerful, sunny yellow, is a tension getter. While it is considered an optimistic color, people lose their tempers more often in yellow rooms and babies are more exuberated to cry more. It can be overpowering if overused. Yellow enhances concentration, hence it's used for legal pads. Yellow also speeds metabolism. Green color, it is considered to symbolize nature. It also, as I mentioned previously, it has calming, refreshing effect. People waiting to appear on television programs sit in green rooms to relax. And you know, hospitals often use green because it relaxes patients. Blue, of course, is the color of the sky and the ocean. Blue causes the body to produce calming chemicals, and it's often applied in bedrooms. It can symbolize loyalty. People are more productive in blue rooms. Weightlifters lift heavier weights in blue gyms. Blue is also one of the least appetizing colors. Blue food is rare in nature. When food dyed blue is served to study subjects, so they lose appetite. Violet is the color of royalty, and purple connotes luxury, wealth, and sophistication. However, because it is a rare in nature, purple can appear artificial. And we have two more colors. Among them is a black, which is the color of authority and power. It is popular in fashion because it makes people appear thinner. It is also stylish and timeless. Black also implies submission. Priests and nuns wear black to signify submission to God. Black outfits can also be overpowering or make the wearer seem a laugh or evil. White, in contrary, we know that brides wear white to symbolize innocence and purity. White reflects light and is considered a summer color. White is popular in decorating and in fashion because it is light, neutral, and goes with everything. Doctors and nurses wear white to imply sterility. And how does it work, these things about physiology of colors? The human visual system is remarkable apparatus. It provides us with a three-dimensional perception of the world. Light is reflected from the objects around us. When the reflected light enters the eye, it is measured by the retinal cells. The information processing starts inside the eye. However, most information processing is done inside the brain. Color is actually not an attribute that can be attached to the objects around us. It is basically a result of the processing done by the brain and the retina. The human visual system is able to determine the colors of the objects irrespective of the illuminations, and this ability is called color constancy. Mechanism for color constancy also exists in other species, ranging from goldfish to honeybees. Well, obviously color is an important biological signaling mechanism. Without color constancy, objects could no longer be reliably identified by their color. There are, of course, connections between colors and behavior, and these very connections pharmacology firms pretty much pay attention on that, because what color psychology research says about, for example, the therapeutic values of pill colors? Well, it seems very insignificant, but just in contrary. So, for example, red pills are associated with stimulants and blue are associated with relaxation. The right color choice can create a placebo effect that enhances the effectiveness of the medicine. For example, in research, changing the original color of an antileptic pill increased the risk of adherence to the medication in patients diagnosed with a seizure disorder. People tend to like or dislike colors based on their associations of the color to other objects or situations that they have strong feelings about. For example, if someone associates the color blue with clean water, they would be more likely to favor blue. On the other hand, people's dislike of the color brown could be due to associations of it with faeces or rotten food. A light's warmth or coolness can be described by its cool color temperature, neutral and soft. Soft white is a friendly and clean light best for kitchens and bathrooms or any kind of workspace. Cool light is adequate for offices, hospitals, and other commercial uses. And in the end, warm lights creates a cozy, calm, inviting atmosphere that is ideal for bedrooms, living rooms, family rooms, dinings, and so on. In marketing, color psychology is pretty much used because it has been shown that color can be used to communicate brand personality. Everyone perceives color differently, nothing new here, but the psychological and emotional effect of color in each person is influenced by several factors, such as past experiences, culture, religion, natural environment, gender, race, and nationality. Customers generally make an initial judgment on a product within 90 seconds of interaction with that product, and mostly that judgment is based on color. People often see the portrayed colored logo of a brand or company as a representation of that company. And the names of colors matters. Actually, these names are often called visual color descriptors. For example, instead of the simple brown color to be said, could be used mocha color. And we, of course, when we make a product, we name it as a mocha color in order to attract customers. People make decisions when a favorite color is present because of consciously focus on it. This implies that products can capture someone's attention based on color before the person willingly looks at the product. Warm colored store displays are more appropriate for spontaneous and unplanned purchases, whereas cool color displays and store entrances may be a better fit for purchases where a lot of planning and customer deliberation occurs. Blue, a cool color, was rated as more favorable and produced higher purchasing intentions than orange, a warm color. However, all negative effects to orange were neutralized when orange store color was paired with soft lighting. This shows that store color and lighting actually interact. So, this brings us to the end of this story for today. I hope you enjoyed the story about the light, actually the healing properties of light and colors, and the last part is about color psychology and the influences of the color therapy. So, until the next time, with love and light. TCM Podcast, all about Chinese medicine.